Well,
Not at
let's
all.
talk about the proposal because the proposal was awesome. I do think there was a moment of suspense where it was like, "Oh my God, is he really going to propose?" But I think we had to build that a little bit. You were the only guy left, so I think they needed to give us something. But what was going through your head before that? Because we did see a very intense conversation with Katie's family. Aunt Lindsay did not hold back.
What is Aunt Lindsay's reaction to you guys being engaged? And did she find out last night with everybody? I need to know if that's true.
Yeah, she did find out last night.
Holy
she's very
shit.
supportive. Actually, everyone's very excited for him to come over and see everyone in our own normal element. Outside of that, and I think
Really?
Blake's just going to fit in.
Is
perfectly.
Aunt Lindsay really okay with it?
She's fine. I promise. I mean, she's a tough cookie, but I think she did go in a little extra hard just to see if he could pass the test, and he did.
Yeah.
What were
That
you
was
thinking
intense.
during that, Blake?
Oh, did you see my posture? Like I finally just was defeated and was just like, I'm done here. Like I can't win, right? Listen, she's coming from a place where she's being protective, which is very, very fair. I just was on the wrong end of that. And so, I can't wait to see her in person, see their family in person. She needs to see us now, like in real life, right? Like it's a show. She wasn't very fond of that. And so I think that kind of came into a lot of the... So I think she just needs to see us in real life and it'll calm her right down.
And what about Emily? Need to ask about the mom. How's Em doing?
She's good. She's very, very excited. She doesn't drink very often, but last night she, I think, got loaded because I'm getting the text coming through. She's really excited, and Katie's coming back to Canada, so we'll be able to celebrate the way that my mom wants to, and she's just very excited about it.
Did Emily know? Katie, did your mom know? Like when you said your family
No.
knew. What? How? I'm sorry, but how did you not
It's
tell your
impressive.
family that you were engaged? How? I know.
I mean, they knew.
I'm sorry.
They knew we were together because there were times where I'd leave to go visit him.
Yeah.
They just didn't know to what extent.
Okay.
And my family's not so traditional that it was going to be this big thing where I sit them down and talk to them about it or like have them even ask for permission. As you saw, like we're just kind of like do our own thing and support the women in our family. And so I knew they didn't need to know in advance. I was like, I'm okay with them watching it live and texting me or calling me afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, kudos to the family.
Yeah,
I
whoa.
think now, but I like that I almost like a little bit that they didn't have these months of being like, who is this man that Katie's engaged to? We can't even see him because we have to keep this a secret. So now they get to experience it fully in real life. And I think another big change, this season you had Caitlyn and Tayshia with you guys. And I know that Twitter was joking about Tayshia being the one helping Blake pick out engagement rings and the dynamic there. But Blake, you replied to one of our tweets. You were like, we needed Tayshia in that moment. How did you guys all interact, especially like towards the end of all this? Because Caitlyn and Tayshia obviously looked like they were ecstatic for you guys.
Oh yeah. I mean, people really build that up because it's like a talking point, but honestly, like not one time did the whole Tayshia thing ever cross my mind when I was there, right? Like I have such a great relationship with Zach for one thing, but also, and I talked about this briefly, the only thing that they ever showed Tayshia and I talked about on her season was the fact that how I said it was very important to keep your exes close if you can and maintain that relationship. And look how that played out
Right.
on this season, right? And just being mature about it, right? And Tayshia and I were able to do that. She vouched for me coming on the season, and it played out in our favor because I did need her in some moments where she came through for me. So it's just crazy how that kind of all played out.
Yeah, we enjoyed Caitlyn and Tayshia this season, obviously, and just for the sake of you, Katie, to have two strong women help you through that. And we know that the narrative going into the season was like a little wishy-washy, the way people were talking about it, like, oh, Tayshia and Caitlyn and Katie, three strong
too
women
many
in
women.
one room. But I think
ridiculous.
it went over well.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't comfortable with change sometimes, and that's really what this season format was. But I think everyone can agree, which is obviously why it's the same for Michelle going forward, that having these two women there to support the Bachelorette in the chaos that you guys got to see from start to finish, it's very much needed. And so I'm excited that the girls are going to be there for Michelle as well, because it really does make a huge difference.
Yeah, we're excited to watch that, and we're excited to see what happens with you guys. Now looking back, is there anything you would change about this process? Do you guys have any regrets, or would you do it all over again?
I mean, I would do it all over again as long as the outcome's the same.
Yeah.
But no regrets, really. You know, all I wanted this season was for the men to be known, their stories to be heard, and topics to be brought up. And so not even just like the last week's topic, but in general, each week there was stories that were shared and tears that were shared and important conversations. And that's, I think, the biggest thing I can take away from this whole entire season. And then, of course, getting to walk away with Blake at the very end.
Yeah,
I don't have any regrets at all. It panned out perfectly. It was very scary to pull the trigger in the beginning, but it panned out exactly how I thought it was going to. And so
it panned out how we thought it would. I would say, Blake, after maybe 2 weeks of you being there, we all sat down and we were like, I don't know what's going to happen with these other guys, but Blake and Katie to us make the most sense in real life.
Yes. I have an inappropriate question to ask, so bear with me if you think if I'm stepping over a line here, but I don't know with you two. I feel like it's safe. Did you guys beat the windmill record that Hannah Brown and Peter had during your fantasy suite?
What did they say? I don't remember what
I think they said like 7.
Oh, was it 7? I thought it was 3.
Wait, I'm going to look up Hannah Brown. Peter.
I don't know why I think 7.
Well, that might be our answer right there, that if you thought it was 7, you had to think about it.
It was 4 times.
Oh, 4.
Oh. I don't think so.
No, we definitely didn't go there.
Because we really did utilize the time. Oh, I mean, we went there.
We
But
did go there. Well, there was moments where you have, like, that's the thing, right? It's not all about sex in those moments. You have a lot of conversations. I think the first time that I actually cried with her was behind the scenes in the fantasy suite. We put on a part of David Attenborough's like documentary because we're talking about the passions and things. Like that's what you're doing behind the scenes, right? That's our crying about a rhino and like those moments are meant for that, not just the physical stuff. And people need to remember that.